Quick note before we start, our thumbnail shows a crab with claws. That is not a horseshoe crab. A horseshoe crab has a smooth helmet-shaped shell and a long spike tail, no claws. Our AI artist has never been to Delaware Bay, and it shows every vaccine you have ever received was tested using blood from a living horseshoe crab. That blood is blue, it costs roughly $15,000 a liter, and without it, modern medicine does not have a reliable way to check whether your IV drip is going to kill you. You're welcome. The horseshoe crab is not a crab. I need to get that out of the way early because it is going to bother me for the rest of this episode. It is a cheliceraate, which means it is more closely related to spiders and scorpions than to anything you have ever cracked open with a mallet at a seafood restaurant. It has been on this planet for 450 million years. That is longer than trees. Flowers are the concept of vertebrates having jaws. 5 mass extinctions have come and gone. The horseshoe crab watched all of them happen and did not even bother to evolve. It has 9 eyes. 9 distributed around its body like someone was decorating a potato and lost count. 2 of them are on its tail, which feels like a design choice made at 3 a.m. What you're looking at is not horseshoe crabs. Our AI decided to populate Delaware Bay with what appear to be tarantulas on a field trip. I told you they were related to spiders, and the machine took that personally. A real horseshoe crab spawning beach looks like someone dumped 1,000 army helmets in the surf. Keep that image in your head instead. Once a year, on the full moon high tides of late May, they crawl up onto the beaches of Delaware Bay in numbers that make the sand move. Females lay up to 80,000 eggs each. Millions of migrating shorebirds, including the red knot, time their entire migration around this event. If the crabs do not show up, the birds do not eat, the beach becomes a cafeteria, and the horseshoe crab has been running it free of charge for longer than birds have existed. But the eggs are not why we are here today. We are here because of the blood. Horseshoe crab blood uses hemocyanin instead of hemoglobin, which means it turns blue when it hits oxygen, but the blood also contains a cell called an amebocyte that does something no synthetic compound has fully replicated at scale. It clots instantly in the presence of bacterial endotoxins. The moment a gram-negative bacterium shows up, the blood locks down around it like a biological security system. In 1977, the FDA approved a test built on this reaction. It is called the Limulus Amebocyte Lysate test, or LAL, which sounds like a spell from a fantasy novel, but it is in fact the backbone of pharmaceutical safety. Every injectable drug, every IV bag, every vaccine, every surgical implant sold in the United States must pass a LAL test before it reaches your body. That is not an exaggeration, that is the regulation. What horseshoe crabs provide is what ecologists call a provisioning service. That is one of 4 categories of ecosystem services. Provisioning services are the stuff ecosystems hand you directly. Food, water, fiber, timber, medicine. Most people think of the obvious ones, the salmon on the plate, the cotton in the shirt. Almost nobody thinks about the weird ones, like a 450 million-year-old cheliceraate whose blood chemistry happens to be the only field-proven method for detecting bacterial contamination in every injectable drug on Earth. That is also a provisioning service. The other 3 categories, regulating, cultural, supporting, will show up in future episodes. For now, horseshoe crab, clotting reactive blue blood, your entire pharmaceutical safety net, that is the chain, that is the service. So here's where the story stops being fun. Every year, the biomedical industry collects roughly 500,000 horseshoe crabs from the Atlantic coast. They are taken to laboratories, strapped into racks, and bled. About 30% of their blood is drained from a vein near the heart, then they are returned to the ocean. The industry reports a mortality rate of around 15%. Independent studies put it closer to 30%. The crabs that survive often show reduced spawning activity and disorientation. They come back, but they do not come back the same. A synthetic alternative exists. It is called recombinant factor C, or RFC. It works. It has been approved in Europe in 2020. The US Pharmacopeia had the chance to add RFC as a compendial method, which would have given pharmaceutical companies a clear regulatory pathway to switch. They voted no. The committee that makes the rules decided for now that the 450 million-year-old animal would keep doing the job. Meanwhile, the Delaware Bay population has declined significantly since the 1990s. The red knot, which depends on those eggs, was listed as threatened under the Endangered Species Act in 2014. The cafeteria is running out of food because we keep bleeding the cook. An animal that predates every tree on this planet built the safety system your medicine runs on, and the official position of the regulatory apparatus is that we have not yet found it convenient to stop. That is the episode. Thanks for watching. If this is the kind of thing you want more of, subscribe. I will be back with another species that is holding up something you did not know was at risk. See you then.